Hello there and welcome to the latest episode of Referees the Final Whistle podcast with me. I'm your host, my name is Ant. First of all, it's been a crazy week in refereeing. There's about four main topics that I'm going to cover in this episode. The first one is finally. This seems like it's been on the drawing board forever, but we're finally getting body cams to wear. So I'll be going into that one a little bit. It's not everyone gets a camera, get out there and start taking video and uploading it to YouTube. There are some caveats that come with this body cam trial, and I'll be going into that. There is, of course, as well the departure by mutual consent of Lee Mason from the Professional Game Match Officials Limited organisation. I suspect he's been sacked. Now, okay, that's just me thinking out loud, but given the circumstances, the point of the season that we're in, I just don't buy that they left. He left by mutual consent, as is the story on that one. So I'll be having a little look what's actually happened there to Lee Mason. Now we've got a couple of nice stories to wrap it up with. That's a lie. We haven't got a couple of them. We've got one nice story to wrap it up with. The other story I wanted to cover was this photo that's been flying around on social media of David Coote, suggesting that he's a Manchester United fan and that him reffing the Carabao Cup final is in some way, somehow inappropriate because it will have bias towards Manchester United. They'll get all the penalties. Newcastle will get all the red and yellow cards, and it should not be happening. How can a Manchester United fan be getting to referee a cup final in which Manchester United are playing? It is, of course, entirely bollocks, and I'll be going into that one a little bit as well. But let's go on to our first story, which is the trial of body cams for match officials in grassroots football in England. Now, it's very, very specifically on 4 leagues around the country. The first one, I think, is in the northeast. It's up in Middlesbrough, before it will be joined in the trial by 3 other leagues, one of which is the Liverpool Old Boys League, right here where I am in Merseyside. Now, I just want to say, I don't think that's the right league for this trial to be taking place on, and here's why. There are people that operate the Liverpool Old Boys League that have done an exceptional job in getting a culture from the teams, from the players, from the managers, where referee respect is at a higher level, because this culture of respect your referee, look after them, they're an essential part of your game, don't abuse them. That is firmly embedded into that league's culture now, and they come down very harshly on players, managers and clubs that don't have that ethos. They'll kick them out of the league. Body cams primarily are put out there as a deterrent, and I'll be going into the website very shortly of the camera maker, which is Reveal Media, to go over what they have said about the body cam. But they see it as primarily a deterrent to stop abuse before it even starts of match officials, but then also for use in evidence gathering. Now, I work in the security industry occasionally, and Reveal cameras, you'll see them on your door staff, on some close protection officers, on some security guards, on retail, the sort of retail security guards as well. And so it's a legit piece of kit. They're established in the industry already. They know what they're doing. So let's deep dive into Reveal Media's equipment. So here we are. You can go into revealmedia.co.uk Head up to industries and then sport, and it'll take you to this page. Supporting sports officials and preventing abuse. Read more about the FA trial. So let's do that together. The FA selects Reveal Media as their body-worn camera partner for grassroots referee trial. So far, so good. It tells you pretty much on the tin that Reveal Media are the organisation that are going to supply these cameras. Let's go a little deeper. Reveal Media is delighted to announce that it has been chosen by the Football Association as their technology partner for an upcoming trial across the English football leagues to tackle the levels of abuse and aggression directed towards referees. Abusive and aggressive behaviour towards referees is at an all-time high. In the latest survey conducted by Radio 5 Live with 927 referees, 98% said they'd experienced verbal abuse from either spectators, players, coaches, or managers. This is impacting referees' mental health, and retention is dwindling due to safety concerns. As one of its initiatives to combat the issue, the FA has selected Reveal's referee safety cam as a first-of-its-kind trial and has distributed the technology to referees across 4 leagues up and down the country for initial tests. As I said. Alistair Field, CEO, comments, "We are incredibly proud to have been selected by the FA as their technology partner for this grassroots football trial. I experienced the issue of abuse directed towards officials personally when I refereed for under-10s football for a couple of years, and ultimately the amount of abuse I received destroyed the enjoyment and led to me giving up." Just as an aside there, that is a very sad, very familiar story from a lot of referees. I think it's something crazy like 4 out of 5 referees that qualify as a referee end up leaving within 2 years due to the abuse that they receive. And it's at youth football that is the huge problem. Understanding that this was a rampant problem led to us adapting our camera for the requirements of match play, as I could envision our front-facing screen technology having real potential to de-escalate situations and even deter them from happening. We are excited for the upcoming trial and look forward to playing our part in the support of the referee community and to help revive the joy of officiating. Now, this is it. When it goes well, being a referee is fantastic. And as I've mentioned before, I've refereed academy football, and it's an incredibly sterile environment, but sterile in the sense that you're walking into an environment that you know is safe. You know it's safe. That is how it should be on every single football match up and down the country, if not around the world. That it isn't is the big problem, and hopefully these body cameras will fix that. Now, it won't solve the problem. It is definitely treating the symptom and not the cause. And I do think that I'm optimistic about this trial. I truly am, but will it fix the problem? No, because as I said, the cause of the problem is what remains kind of untreated. This camera won't fix that. So let's go into Reveal Media's statement a little bit further. The selected camera model is Reveal's KS4 camera, which has been specifically designed to withstand the rigours of match play whilst being comfortable and unobtrusive for a referee to wear. It retains all the features and technological innovations that has made Reveal body-worn cameras the leading behaviour management tool in other industries facing similar issues of abuse and aggression. The security industry, for example. The act of wearing a Reveal body-worn camera has been shown to deter poor behaviour. Once the aggressor is warned and the recording feature is switched on, the signature front-facing screen comes into play. Often, the act of seeing themselves serves to de-escalate a situation. However, should the worst case happen, the crystal-clear audio and video recording alongside Reveal's pre-record feature will ensure the entire incident is documented and available for recall at a future disciplinary. All footage is encrypted and securely stored, with only authorised personnel able to access and share the footage if needed. Now, this is the big thing about this trial. You're not just throwing on a GoPro and recording your entire match to upload on YouTube later for clicks, likes, and shares. This camera has to be activated. It will once activated, it grabs 2 minutes of prior footage, as well as the incident that you start recording as the referee. The rest of the statement just reads, for more information about the technology and whether your sport could be eligible for a similar trial, inquire now, and one of our experts will be in touch. And then there's some contact information at the bottom of the screen. So we'll head over Twitter. So we'll head over to Twitter. Very smooth transition there, Anthony. And we go to the body cam training. North Riding FA referees department are the first, I believe, who are going to use the cameras, like, out in the field, for real. And this tweet 12 hours ago, which was made, where are we now? It's 10 to 9 on the 18th of February when I'm recording this. It says, just over 24 hours to go until our referees make history and become the first in the world to trial body cams in the Lang Bar. Oh, I'm almost certain I've said that wrong. But it's a league up in Middlesbrough, I believe. So, not a huge league. You know, they've got 684 followers on Twitter, so it's not, you know, it's not huge, but obviously you don't want a trial going on a very big league. I suppose you want to keep it controlled. Going back to the Liverpool All Boys League being Merseyside's representative league for this trial, I do think, you know, if you look at other leagues on Merseyside, there was a Sunday league, which just before Christmas, the referees went on strike. The referee secretary said, right, this needs to stop. The abuse, the threats of abuse, the vandalism against referees' personal equipment and belongings is too much. Everyone's crossed the line. So I think there was a weekend, maybe two, where the referees just said, no more, we're not refereeing you until this changes. I think disciplinary statistics prior to a body-worn camera trial on that league would show a massive improvement on statistics afterwards, rather than, as I said, a very well, incredibly well-cultured and managed league like the Liverpool Old Boys League wouldn't see as much of an improvement with this trial. That's my theory anyway. What are your thoughts on that? Drop some comments in this, because I will be going to people's comments at the end of this video just to see, you know, okay, fine, I've got some very, what do we call them? My opinions are out there, and people will message me and say, Ant, have you seen this? Ant, have you seen that? And I'll share it and it'll get around. But it's important as well for the referees forum for you to have your say as well, whether that's in a comment under a Facebook post or a tweet or whatever. Remember, this is a forum for everyone to discuss. So whereas I'm chatting about these things now, if you're listening on Spotify or Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever, or on YouTube, wherever you're watching with this content, get yourself onto the referee forum's various social media pages where the discussion, I mean, the past 30 days, it's gone huge. I've reached almost 2 million people just on Facebook. Add to that the tens of thousands on Twitter and the thousands on Instagram. It's been big. It's been big. So join the discussion. If you want to just listen, if you just want to consume, that's fine. But get involved, get active if you want. There's tons of stuff to chat about. And there's thousands of referees and non-referees that join in. So going back to these pictures, the referees up in North Riding have received the training on the body-worn cameras. Let's have a little look at that. There they are. Can we see anyone that I recognise there? No one stands out for me as I don't recognize any of those. I'm very, very sorry to all of the people in there. If I do know you and you know me, and I haven't said, oh, there's Dave or whoever. So these are the pioneers. These are the pioneers right now who will be the world's first referees who will wear body-worn cameras officially sanctioned by the IFAB in this trial. So well done to you. Well done to the people on this screen right now. Let's flick over. Now when I saw the first pictures of these cameras, they just sat on the chest. There's no harness or anything like that. But what it seems to be is you will wear the harness underneath your shirt, as you can see in this picture, and the camera seems to clip onto a magnet that's on this chest plate. So that is how the cameras will be worn. For myself, I did tweet, I think the COO or someone, or some technician from Reveal Media saying, listen, my chest, it like kind of sits up like that because I've got good pecs. What's the field of view on these cameras? Presumably very wide. But there'll be tons of questions like that. I'm sure the folks at Reveal Media will answer them on social media. I'll reach out to them on social media as well, see if they want to come on the podcast and just talk about it, because it's big news, this. So there we go. 3 refs, one in the middle there giving a thumbs up. He's loving life. He's loving that he's one of the first. He's holding his brand new box with a camera in it. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Look at that artistic shot from the photographer there of the body-worn camera. Beautiful depth of field there. Actually, I think, I'm really sorry, but I definitely reached out to the North Riding FA Twitter account recently and said, some of the shots from recent training events, the photography has been top notch, really, really good. Who does your photography? And they did let me know, and I'm really sorry, but I've forgotten. And when I watch this back, and if I remember, I'll pop it up onto the screen or leave it in the comments. But if you can, go and follow that account, because it's really good photography. Niche, obviously, supporting referees. Give them a follow. Give them a follow. Show some support. And there we go. That's the standing up on the left hand side there is, of course, North Riding FA's RDO Ross Joyce. If you don't know who that is, that's fine, but he is the longest serving RDO in the country, and he's done fantastic work at North Riding. And importantly, their social media really highlights all of the positive good work that they do for referees, leading the way in the positive, in the way they look after the referees, but also promoting referee positivity on social media as well. So hashtag ref positivity for Ross and the entire team over at North Riding FA for what you guys are doing for referees. Loving your work. So there we go. That's the body-worn camera. What are your thoughts on body-worn cameras? Let's take a look at some of the comments under this. I did ask this morning before I went off to referee my Liverpool County Premier game this afternoon, which was very lovely, by the way. Very enjoyable to referee. I said, I'm recording this episode, we're talking about body-worn cameras. What are your thoughts? So let's have a look at some of the comments. Simon Mohammed says, a positive move for grassroots football and will offer some form of protection for referees. I agree with that. Ben J. Kitch says, if used correctly, it will be an excellent tool. Will it be filming continuously throughout the match or just during a confrontational incident? If it's the former, then it would require a decent battery life, and if it's the latter, then it would be a good de-escalation tool, but we would need to remember to turn the thing on. That's a good point. I mean, how often have, and I'll hold my hands up and say that this has happened to me, it's massively kicked off and you just go into tunnel vision and you just focus on, I need to de-escalate this mass con, or I need, I'm being surrounded, I need to get myself away from this quite intimidating situation. You've got to get that muscle memory, I guess, to just switch the camera on. So as discussed, it will not film the entire start to finish game. It does have a 2.5 hour battery life. But as I said, if you're just switching it on for these confrontational moments, you get 2 minutes prior, and then I guess until you have decided that the incident is over, and we'll turn it off. If you're a referee that's been trained in the use of body-worn cameras, I would love to have you on the podcast. Talk me through your training. Let me know exactly what the protocol and procedure is. Gary Sweeney says, the question is, if this trial works well and is rolled out, how much will they cost and who will pay for them? The CFA, the FA, or the referees? Good question, and one that I cannot answer. I do not know. Nothing has also been published to kind of answer that question either. So, if you do know the answer, drop that in the comments. Kieran Cox says, people act differently when they know there are cameras around. The stuff players do and say they would never do in other walks of life. This has been a long time coming. Fingers crossed the punishments will suit the crimes these cameras will evidence. Now, I don't think punishments will change. This is just having an appendix to your report, I guess. Obviously, you will still report everything in written form and submit it through the whole game system. With the footage to kind of back up what you say. Will you have access to the footage when writing a report? I don't know. You would hope that you would be able to, so that when writing your report, you can kind of capture what you say. And because if you don't get it verbatim, then I guess the appeal would be, well, actually, I didn't say exactly that. See the video for proof. It's an interesting one. But let's wait and see and get someone on, hopefully from Reveal Media, but hopefully maybe even an RDO or a referee that's been trained in this stuff, and they can fill in the blanks on that. Phil Lisa Fursman, I'm assuming that's a joint account. Not keen on those. Nothing says, I don't trust my partner like a joint social media account. That's not me saying that. That's a meme just before anyone complains. Says, fantastic tool. If I had this, an FA appeal panel would not have gone with unproven and let two people who was verbally abusing me. Okay, so this sounds like an incident where a referee was verbally abused and the FA allowed the abuse to go unpunished. The body camera for referees are a must now, not in 2 or 3 years' time. Now, I think the trials on these 4 leagues are set to last 18 months. What I don't know is, in 18 months' time, if the trial, for example, is successful, do we roll it out then? Or is it a case of, we'll review it in 6 months. If it's going well, we'll expand to more leagues and then do another review in 6 months. I don't know about that. Again, it would be handy to have information from the people that know. Might stop all the referees leaving from the non-stop abuse. Now, again, that's referenced back to what Reveal Media said in their statement about 98% of referees being subject to some form of abuse. Kevin Peck, absolutely agree in the use of them, and it won't stop abuse, but if used correctly, it could definitely offer deterrent when a player gets banned, etc. Yeah. And Steve Humphreys, is this really the answer? Will it stop any player abusing a referee? It's one of those things where people will say, well, if it stops one referee from getting abused, surely that's got to be a big success, but I don't think that we can judge the success on such a small number. I think what you'd want to see is wholesale change in stakeholder attitudes, and those stakeholders are obviously managers, coaches, players. Will it happen? How do you measure change in culture? You can measure statistics, you can measure, data, but you can't measure culture. Maybe a questionnaire will go out before, during, and after to see if the body-worn cameras do indeed have an effect. That's body-worn cameras. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Let's move on now to the controversial parting of ways. I need to be very careful about what is said because I don't want to get sued for libel or slander, and I definitely want to stick to exactly what's been said, even though I didn't at in the intro. But that I shared an opinion, and that is fine. Freedom of speech. So let's go to this statement from the Professional Match Game Officials Limited. PGMOL can confirm that video assistant referee Lee Mason has departed the organisation by mutual consent. Lee was a Premier League referee for 15 years and oversaw 287 top-flight matches during that time, with his last coming during the closing stages of the 2021-22 season. His full career in the professional game saw the 51-year-old officiate in over 500 fixtures after he progressed to the Football League in 1998. We'd like to thank Lee for his dedicated service to the professional game and wish him all the best in the future. Now, this obviously comes off the back of Lee Mason's mistake in not drawing off sidelines properly, and Ivan Toney not being given a goal, which affected the result of a game. The timing of this, the departure of Lee Mason, it's a statement. It's a statement. Obviously, we've got Howard Webb in now, and he has said some things and made some promises about accountability and transparency. And I think this ties into that. Lee Mason could have been taken off duty, off VAR duty until the end of the season, and probably he would have just retired anyway. The fact that he's been very publicly made to mutually depart the organisation by mutual consent, it kind of plays into this. He's being punished for making a mistake. Now, there are people on Twitter that said it wasn't just one mistake. Lee Mason has made several mistakes over the course of him being a VAR operator. And this again plays into what I said before VAR came in. And I love it when I'm right. Just because you are a top flight referee, it does not mean you have the skill set to operate the technology of VAR. Now, of course, it can be trained in. Of course it can. But it's very, 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 very different. I think it's easier to train in the laws of the game, for example, where on the body counts for offside and where doesn't, than it is to train, I'm going to say, a referee in his or her late 40s in a technology system that they've never used before, a very complex technology system that they've never used before. So the fact that to get to be a top-level VAR, you also have to have been a top-level match referee, I can see why. Don't get me wrong, I completely understand that. But it's not a transferable skill set between the two. Clearly. How many times do you go on social media and you see people screaming, in a social media way, that it's not VAR that's the problem, it's the people using VAR that's the problem. I don't buy into that at all, by the way. I think you will have whenever there is a human element in any system, that's the point where the mistake is going to happen, the error is going to happen. You look back at big tragedies like the Fukushima power plant, even, what's the other one? Chernobyl. I believe they were both points at which there was human error, which caused the meltdown. Obviously not the same as I want to make it very clear that Chernobyl and Lee Mason not drawing an offside line in the correct place are not comparable in any way, shape or form. I merely, just before anyone gets really upset with me and reports me again, it's to make the point that it's the people in the system that are the weak points. It's not the actual, VAR. We're getting semi-autonomous VAR anyway, so this sort of offside, onside thing won't even be an issue next year. But I just feel really, really bad for Lee Mason, because I have empathy. Obviously, there are people people in these comments that are about to look at are saying, good riddance, get rid of him, crap referee. He clearly wasn't. You don't get to referee 287 top flight football matches if you're a crap referee. It just doesn't happen. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at them. Stuart Nunn says, okay, let's get rid of every referee, whoever makes what is perceived by one team a mistake. Should mean all of the select group officials are gone inside a week. Then we can get some referees who aren't allegedly corrupt, and I wonder who those guys are. Who are they refereeing tomorrow? Why have we never heard of them before? At least they're all perfect, will be better than any of the current crop. Hang on, I know where they are. They're hiding behind their keyboards, or they are the 25-stone butterfly sitting in row F who only stops munching his pie to shout abuse at anyone not playing for his team. I think Stuart has absolutely nailed that one. And I completely agree with him. Mistakes happen because we are all human. Look at the Newcastle goalkeeper today, got himself sent off for handling outside the area after heading the football into the ground whilst lying down. That's a horrendous mistake. He got sent off, and he's definitely cost Newcastle an opportunity to get back into that game. I've not seen anyone, no one at all, demanding he be sacked or saying that he's corrupt. So why is it that referees do get that when they make a mistake? Not even a mistake as bad as that. Sometimes it's just a throw-in didn't go the way that a certain supporter wanted, and suddenly the referee is the worst human on earth. It doesn't add up for me. And football really has to do better on things like that. We've allowed, especially over the last 20 years, this cancer to not only form but grow and root itself into the culture of football, where abusing a referee for them not giving a decision that you want is valid grounds to abuse them with some of the most vile comments that you can produce. Just, we need to cut this toxic cancer out of football, and it needs to start from the top down. I'm preaching to the choir here, because you've heard me say this on other podcast episodes. This is a great name here. Ignatius Lawrence says, I believe there could have been a better way to handle the situations, more options rather than mutual consent. Ray Bigger, sadly, it appears Howard Webb capitulated to the media and club mob, unless there is more to this than has been reported. Even more sad when the other week Shearer and Wright described the brawl between Man U and Palace players as handbags. Pathetic. Mason, as far as I know, never grabbed a player by the throat, tripped a player, or insulted a manager. Yeah, I'm not aware of him doing any of that either. Steve Craig says the best officials are the ones who make the least number of mistakes. Thanks, Steve. Good comment. Mike King really nails this one. Next time some disgruntled fan says they have to be accountable, I'm just gonna post this. And I think Lee Mason's been thrown under the bus for exactly that reason. Everyone's screaming, they have to be accountable. Referees aren't accountable. They'll make a mistake one week, but they're back out refereeing the next week. Well, yeah, so are the players, the coaches and the managers. It's what they do. Everyone makes mistakes. Why are referees not allowed to make mistakes, but everyone else is? Referees get 3 minutes and a VAR to do it. They still make mistakes. They're still human. We've had Liverpool players in the game I just watched miss open goals. Open goals. But they're not corrupt. They're allowed to make mistakes. They're unlucky. Head up, it'll be better next time. Right, moving on. We've got this picture doing the rounds on social media, shared here by Courtney Neary, which I think she deleted it when all of the referees said, "You're wrong." It's a picture of Notts County fan David Coote, a fake Facebook profile picture, by the way, which has been set up. You know, I said when I posted this, try not to be one of the thick people sharing it or other conspiracy theories about the governing bodies overtly trying to influence results. It's not a good look, and it makes you come across as really stupid. But unfortunately, there are people on social media that take things at face value. They've seen this and gone, David Coote, referee, Manchester United picture in the background. Oh, look, David Coote, a Man United fan, refereeing their game in a cup final. The amount of stupidity. It's incomprehensible for me that critical thinking does not exist. On the internet, it doesn't. Some of the comments on this one. Andy Scott said, but which one of the two Facebook posts is true? It's a valid question. I said, assume everything is a lie. If you assume everything is a lie, you will scrutinize it way more than if you just look at something and go, well, yeah, that must be true. Makes sense? If you assume everything posted on social media is something out to trick you, you will give it the scrutiny that it deserves. Imagine every day on the internet is the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, and everything posted is trying to catch you out. That should be your mentality throughout the 365 days in a year. And honestly, a lot of the crap would stop getting shared tomorrow, and it would make my life far less stressful. Honestly, it would. Right, let's wrap this up. Let's finish on a bit of good news, which is very positive, this one. This was shared by Charlie's mum. It says, this is my son Charlie. He's 15 and has been refereeing since December. It's important that everyone understands he isn't a referee. He's a child who chooses to referee. If he refs your game, please treat him how you would want your child to be treated. He's also set up Keister Kicks football tournaments for children by all ability and ages. It's been a huge local success. I'm so proud of him, Charlie's mum. And I think Charlie's mum, the entire online community of football referees in England and around the world are proud of Charlie as well. And Charlie's mum, you have raised an incredible young man. You should be very proud of yourself. Let's share some of the positive comments as well. Rob Lindsay says we need to keep up monitoring our youngsters. That's important because it only takes one really bad experience and all that positivity gets flushed away. Let's support referees like Charlie so that they become the cup final referees of the future. Michael J. Reed says, well done, Charlie. You hang in there, wee man. And I wish you all the best on and off the field and hope that everyone gives you the respect. Good luck, buddy. All the way from Brisbane, Australia. Ron Porter says, well done, Charlie. Without referees, there would be no game. Wishing you every success. Ian Matthews says, thanks for stepping up, Charlie. Always know that you had the last say and acted in good judgment. The game would not and should not start without you. Simon Burke, just to wrap this one up, says, proud of you, young man. Let's hope those loudmouth dads out there show you some respect. And this is all of a similar theme there. We know what the issue is in youth football, and it's not the kids playing the game, it's the parents on the sideline. And they are the ones that really, really need to stop being toxic. Just stop. So Charlie, will end this episode on you. This post has gone, I'm going to say viral. It's reached in, a week, 500,000 people. And of those 500,000 people, over 15,000 have given it a positive reaction. Almost 1,000 people have commented on this one. All of them have been overwhelmingly positive. 368 people have shared it. If you want to share this, head over to the referee forum on Facebook, find this picture of Charlie and share it to your network as well. Let's get ref positivity out there. Folks, thanks very much for watching and listening. I did have another episode recorded and in the bag. But, you know, with all that was going on, I got suspended by Liverpool County FA. I'm now unsuspended. I will talk about that in the future, but not on this episode. I just wanted to acknowledge that stuff has gone on. That stuff was addressed. I had some good meetings, and things are different now. So we'll go into that in a little bit more detail, but not on this episode. But I couldn't not say anything about it. If you're not already doing so, you know, the referee forum has a presence on all of the major social media channels, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's my YouTube channel and Canavan, where you may be watching this. And that's pretty much it. There's probably more. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Backstitch.com. That's BACKZTITCH.com, where you can find ethically sourced and fair wage refereeing gifts, work garments, all that sort of stuff. Go check out the website and buy some stuff. That would be lovely as well. We've got some great deals running to the end of February. You can get badges for $3.99, and we are offering free postage on all orders over £10 when you use the code FREEPOST when checking out. It's a little way to say thanks for watching, and indeed, if you're on the social media pages, keep an eye out for the offers that come out. We've got a different one every single month, and there's some good kit on there. Good kit. Speaking of kits, just before I end, I've started collecting vintage refereeing kit. As you can see, there's a bit of vintage kit there. That is from around the turn of the millennium. It goes with the classic. When you think of Pierluigi Collina in that Adidas kit, which is black and green, for me, this is the style that I think of. Absolutely classic. It's beautiful. But you can also buy these shirts and kits and pieces of memorabilia from Backstitch.com. Go check it out and grab yourself some pieces of refereeing history. I'll sign off there. Thanks very much for watching. Like, follow, share, all that social media stuff really helps this and me and the algorithm get this out to more people. And if if you want me to stop talking, I will do that now. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.